What's up YouTube, this is AfroJoeTCG, and today I want to show you guys my take on the Denglong Turbo deck. So to get started, we'll start with the monsters. We run the 2 Max C, best hand trap in the game, the triple Swanee, the double Bayan, the double Chiwen, and the 1 Jiao 2 for the Yang Zings monsters. The reason for this ratio is because Swanee is level 4, which means it works well with all the level 1 tuners in your deck, which is majority of your tuners with the exception of Jiao 2, and that makes it instant Denglong. On top of that, Swanee has the highest attack point stat, which makes it pretty relevant in some OTK plays as well. Bayan is level 3, and you run 2 of him because you don't really need him as much as the Swanee, but he can still make a Denglong with the combination of Jiao 2. But what makes him really good is the fact that you can use him in combination with Chiwen to make a Herald of the Arclight on your opponent's turn that's indestructible by battle. And to combine the fact that it's undestructible by battle with the fact that it can negate any card effect, and Herald is going to be a pretty interesting card for your opponent to deal with. And then you have the double Chiwen, as mentioned before, level 1 tuner, but what makes this card really good is that it can resurrect itself from the graveyard. So let's just say you have a Denglong on your side of the field, and you have a Chiwen in your grave. Okay, my opponent destroys Denglong, I resurrect the Chiwen, use Denglong's effect to bring out the Swanee. That's a level 4 and a level 1. Swanee's effect allows me to synchro on my opponent's turn. So then I just make a Denglong on my opponent's turn and get a free search. So that's one of the major reasons Chiwen is good. It allows you to make plays on your opponent's turn, and then 1 Jiao 2. To be honest, Jiao 2 is alright in this deck. He's really only here because he's a level 2 tuner. But, I mean, if you draw Jiao 2 into Yang Zings, you're still going to use the Jiao 2 combo. But the difference between this deck and pretty much any other Yang Zings build I played is that Jiao 2 is not the centerpiece for this deck. In most other decks, you need Jiao 2 as your combo starter or as a key piece to initiate the combo. In this deck, Jiao 2 can initiate combos, but he's not necessary in order to do so, which is why you only really need him at 1. And for finishing off the monsters, we run the entire Speedroid engine. Terratop, Toxic Town board is an instant rank 3. Speedroid Terratop with Red Eye Dice is an instant Denglong or Yazi. And then you run the DDD lineup, which is DD Lamia, DD Surf and Copernicus, and then the 3 Contract with the Gate. So this leads to a 1-card Denglong as well. So you activate Contract with the Date, use this effect to search Copernicus, normal summon Copernicus, use Copernicus' effect to send Lamia from your deck to your graveyard, use Lamia's effect to send the Dark Contract you activated to your graveyard to resurrect itself, and then you have a level 1 tuner and a level 4 monster, which equals a instant Denglong. And you only need a Dark Contract to do it. And what makes this deck so interesting is that you have 6 different ways to start off a 1-card combo, so that's pretty cool. Instant Fusion allows you to get to Norden, and Norden is really good in this deck because Norden plus Chiwen or any of your level 1 tuners is also an instant Denglong. So pretty much half the cards in your deck can get you an instant Denglong if comboed correctly. 2 Yang Zings Path is necessary in this build because you only run 8 Yang Zings monsters in your main board, and Chiwens can banish themselves, so you pretty much at some point should only say 6. And because you're running such a low Yang Zings monster count, your grindability is already lower. And if you don't run paths, you're going to run out of monsters really quickly and you lose pretty much your entire win condition. So Yang Zings Path is necessary to make sure you always have resources left in your deck. The double Dark Hole for board wipes, and it works well with the Yang Zings engine. 2 Chalice, one of the best cards in the game, needs Drancia. If your opponent tries to equip a Zodiac with Whiptail, damage calculation, activate Chalice, Whiptail fizzles out, and you're good to go. Totally awesome. Target totally awesome. Again, if they negate it, they have no more negates. So totally awesome. If they don't negate it, you're still good. So Forbidden Chalice. And then 2 Twin Twisters for back row. And then for the traps, we run a 3/9 Pillars of the Yang Zings. Best counter trap in the game, in my opinion. Yang Zings Creation allows you to make dirty plays on your opponent's turn and helps you with the grinding. 2 Oasis of Dragon Souls. Again, reviving your monsters is really good in this deck. It allows you to make more plays. And what's really good about Oasis of Dragon Souls is that it turns the monster into a worm. And that's really relevant because you can turn Speedroid Terratop into a worm. And if you turn Terratop into a worm, if you try and use Denglong while it's level 5 and the revised Speedroid Terratop, which counts as a worm, you can actually make a Boxia, which to me is actually relevant enough to warrant this card's use. And then you have the Solemn Brigade, or the new Solemn Brigade I should say, the 1 warning and the 2 strike, and then 1 Torrential Tribute for a massive board wipe. And that's it for the main deck. Onto the extra deck, you have the 1 Elder Entity Norden, instant fusion target, 1 Herald of the Arclight for negations, triple Denglong, because this deck is called Denglong Turbo for a reason, 1 Black Rose Dragon, because unlike in any other build, or specifically the Meadowfell's build, this deck does not special summon a lot of monsters in 1 turn, therefore using Black Rose doesn't really harm you, and in fact the ones you do summon are 9 times out of 10 going to be floatable monsters, which means that even after you use Black Rose Dragon's effect, you're going to be able to get a monster that replaces a destroyed monster right back, so you're really not losing any advantage. 1 Yazi, because it's Yazi, 2 Boxia, because it's a great card, 1 Crystal Wing, because you don't make it often, but when you do, combined with your back row, it leaves some pretty nasty fields. Starlight Resurrecting Archfiend is another board wipe in your extra deck and deals burn damage, which is necessary for certain OTK plays, pushing for game, and chip damage when you're trying to go into time. 1 Trishula Dragon of the Ice Barrier, because you actually can make level 9s in this deck. It's just not always the most often thing you do, but when you do make it, Trishula is probably one of the better cards to go into. And then Chao Fang, because you do make, like I said, you make level 9s relatively easily in this deck as well. If you use Chao Fang's effect correctly, you can, like for example, if you draw Zhao 2, you can discard 2 Yang Zings, bring out a Swanee, and a Bayan. That's 4, 3, and 2 is 9. So now you have a Chao Fang that negates Dark, Earth, and Fire. Also can't be destroyed by battle, and gets a 500 attack and defense buff. So now it's at 3300 attack, which is insane. So if you're playing against Infernoids, Zodiac, or even better, Zoo Infernoids, they're going to have a rough time getting around that if they don't have a Kaiju or a Kaiju Slumber or a board wipe. And then for the finally finishing off the extra deck, you have the Super Quantum Mech Beast Grand Pulse, and then you have your 1 copy of Totem Bird for effect negation and spell negation. Well, sorry, for back row removal and spell and trap negation, respectively. If you want, you can actually try and find room for a Breaksword, and you could probably take out one of the level 9s, or if you don't like Starlight, take out the Starlight or Black Rose. It's player preference what you put in this extra deck. But this pretty much concludes the entire deck. So if you guys like to give it a thumbs up, didn't like to give it a thumbs down, comment in the comment section down below what your build is like, what you would change in my build, or one thing I'm curious about is which build do you guys think is better of the Yang Zings? Do you guys think that Meadowfell Yang Zing is better? Or do you guys think that Denglong Yang Zing is better? And give me your reasons why. So once again, this is AfroJoeTCG. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, and before I forget, make sure you comment if you guys like the new layout of the video I'm doing. This is the first time I actually done a video layout quite like this one on this channel. So comment if you guys think it's a good layout, or if it's bad, or if it's good but you think it needs a different color scheme. So once again, this is AfroJoeTCG. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.